Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sergeant Kevin Allen. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Portland Police Bureau. This investigation is an officer-involved shooting where the subject is deceased and all officers are okay. So this investigation actually began last Saturday on January 31st. At about 1:04 p.m. when Central Precinct officers responded to a report of a threat with a weapon at the Safeway at the 1400 block of Northwest Lovejoy. When the officers responded and investigated, they found that a suspect had approached the security officers at the Safeway, produced a handgun, and pulled the trigger. The handgun did not fire. A scuffle ensued, and during the scuffle, the security officers pulled a backpack off of the suspect. The suspect ran from the scene. Officers made a very lengthy investigation and a search for that suspect in the neighborhood, and were trying to find him. They were not successful that day at finding him. However, when they searched the backpack, they found that there was a shotgun in the backpack that was loaded, which certainly increased the level of concern about the danger to the community that this suspect posed. So the case was forwarded over to the Enhanced Community Safety Team. ECST is a group of detectives and officers that investigate shootings, and they utilize their investigative techniques over the course of days to determine who the suspect is and where he is at. They were able to obtain an arrest warrant for that suspect, who lives in the 1600 block of Northwest 14th Avenue. And because of a very high level of danger to the community that this person posed, they brought in the Special Emergency Reaction Team and the Crisis Negotiation Team. Those are our tactical teams that go out to incidents like this and serve dangerous search warrants on armed individuals. That service of the warrant was taking place this morning, was planned this morning, just after 5 o'clock in the morning. The tactical crews knocked on the door, announced themselves. They used explosive breaching tools to try to breach the door and a wall into the apartment. They attempted communication with the suspect, basically calling him out, saying, "You need to come outside. This is the Portland Police." During that time, the suspect did not communicate with them, and eventually there was a need to deploy gas into the apartment in order to prompt him to come out. Because this is an apartment, there's a lot of people that live there. Officers took the time to evacuate the entire 10th floor to make sure that everyone that is in that area was safe from the gas deployment. So after the evacuation, they deployed gas. It was both OC vapor as well as CS gas, which is what we use in situations like this regularly. That was effective, and the suspect came out. There were shots fired, and the suspect is deceased at the scene. There was a handgun that was recovered from the scene, or we know it's at the scene. It hasn't been recovered yet, but it'll be recovered as evidence. So there's a handgun at the scene as well. 2 officers were involved in the shooting. All the officers, both the involved officers, the 2 involved officers, and the witness officers are safe and unhurt. And now we are going forward with our regular officer-involved shooting investigation protocol. So detectives are here. We always bring out our homicide detectives. Obviously, the Multnomah County District Attorney is here. They are overseeing this investigation to determine fully what happened and then the the normal process that we go through to investigate an officer-involved shooting will be happening. So during the investigation, Northwest Savior to Quimby and 13th to 15th are going to close down. We'll be here for several hours as we go through this investigation. We know it's a very populated area. A lot of people live here, and so we're working with the community to try to allow people access to and from their homes as much as we possibly can. But of course, this being a crime scene, we have to make sure that we're preserving that crime scene. So officers will be here for a while during that investigation. Chief Bob Day is here, and I'm going to step aside and allow him for a few comments, and then we'll give you a chance to ask some questions.
Good morning, everyone. Today I shared with Mayor Wilson's team, we're always saddened at the loss of life, and we should never lose sight of the fact that our primary responsibility in public safety is the preservation of life and the sanctity of life. And events like this have a tremendous impact, not only on this individual and his family and his community, but also on the officers involved, the first responders, the medical personnel, the investigators, the broader Portland community, the people in the apartment complex, etc. So we understand in the Portland Police Bureau that these events have a wide-ranging impact on our community, and we're highly sensitive to that. I'm particularly grateful this morning that our officers are safe, their professionalism, their expertise, as Kevin mentioned, our Special Emergency Reaction Team and our Crisis Negotiation Team are always called upon in these highly critical, high-risk situations, and just appreciate their willingness to be available for that. It really highlights the need for continue to have a well-funded, well-resourced, well-equipped Portland Police Department. That the organization is still feeling very fragile. The events of a couple of weeks ago where a couple of our officers were shot. This obviously is a high-intensity situation. As Kevin mentioned, it'll be thoroughly reviewed. I'm committed to a transparent, complete, and independent review of what's going on. We'll have the independent police review. We will partner with our East County Major Crimes Team, the District Attorney's Office, our own Professional Standards Division, and our Training Division will all be engaged in this, and so the community can be assured that there will be many eyes on this. There has been no conclusion reached on the facts or the justification of the officers' actions, as we will continue to let the investigation play out. But this morning, very proud and grateful that our officers are safe. Finally, as I mentioned, it has been a trying couple of weeks. It's really been a trying couple of several months for the Police Bureau, whether it be managing the events, the public order events, or the activities in the South Waterfront, maintaining our commitment to not participate in immigration enforcement, to also some of the violence that we're seeing directed towards our officers, and ongoing efforts to reduce crime and the fear of crime in the city of Portland. And I'm grateful that we continue to do so in collaboration with our many partners, both at the community level and in the federal level and in other law enforcement areas. And Portlanders can be assured that we will continue to provide the highest level of safety and service to all of them to the best of our ability every day. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's our prepared remarks. We'll take a few questions and answer what we can.
This guy that pulled a gun at Safeway, you have a couple of days to kind of put together the things out of his backpack. Did you have any prior? Is he a repeat customer here with Portland Police? Is he known? Or is just this the incident at Safeway the first time he had done something with police, or does he have a criminal history?
I'm not sure about his criminal history. The officers did not initially know him. Some people do have repeat contacts, and my understanding is that none of the officers were familiar with him at the time.
Sergeant Allen, you said that shots were fired. Have the investigators been able to gather who fired those shots first, and why officers returned gunfire?
Yeah, and that's the part that we have to be really careful, because we don't want to say something now that turns out is inaccurate. And so a lot of review has to happen before we can say that definitively. We know obviously the officers fired shots, but these are members of the Special Emergency Reaction Team. They're Portland police officers. They wear body cameras, and so we'll be able to review that over time. But of course, we've only been here a couple hours, and so we need time before we say that definitively.
Now, a portion of the Fremont Bridge was closed this morning for a short period of time. Was that in relation to this incident?
Yes, the Fremont Bridge, we did have at least a lane closed during the course of this. It just happened to be because of where the bridge is located. It was a really good vantage point for officers to kind of see what was going on in the apartment. And so we utilize those points of observation whenever we can to increase the level of safety as much as we possibly can.
When you say he fired the gun on the security officer at Safeway and it didn't shoot, was that because it wasn't loaded or did it jam? Do you know, was he trying to kill that officer?
We don't know. It was not, the gun that we recovered from the scene was not the gun that was involved in that incident. So we still need to investigate that. And I don't know if the gun that we recovered from the scene is the same one. All of that is still yet to be determined as we go through the investigation. And so I'm not sure why it didn't fire. But it was, there was, the information that the investigation revealed was there was a trigger pull in an attempt to fire that weapon. It could have been either one. Both of them make that loud boom sound. So a lot of people who live in this neighborhood, I'm not surprised that they heard that. There would have been actually multiple charges that were deployed, and like I said, because they deployed the gas, that also creates an explosive-like sound. So very likely that was the police charges being deployed. And I also can confirm that we attempted to use an interior drone. That was another piece of equipment that was really helpful in this case. So when in certain situations, we're able to actually deploy a drone inside in an apartment or a room to get a look at what was happening in there, and that was also utilized here. So when the chief talks about the properly resourced and equipped, we really utilize all the equipment at our disposal to try to resolve these situations as safely as possible.